Welcome to Too Many Hobbies. My name is Jeremy Agema, and today we're going to do an oil change on this air compressor that I purchased almost 20 years ago. 2004. Maybe I might have had a little sooner, but I found a picture of 2004. I'm going to show it to you here. You get to see what it looks like. As you can see, this used to be silver. This is a replacement compressor that I had to get. The original one kind of crapped out on me. This is a reed valve compressor. It's got two pistons in it. It's got a crankcase in here. We got a belt and electric motor over here. So it requires oil changes. I am going to be using 30 weight non-detergent motor oil. It's going to be super quick. What I'm going to do is I'll drain the air compressor in order for the motor to run, and we'll let it run. Maybe just let it run with the air tap open. I want the crankcase to get a little warm. It doesn't have to get super hot. We'll drain the oil out of that, pour in the new stuff, and that's pretty much it. I do have, for future upgrades, I've got a compressor, an old compressor off one of our old service trucks that actually is a 4-cylinder. I don't know how this is going to handle it. The upside of this unit, it was cheap. I don't remember what I paid for it, but this is made in China. I drain the tank frequently. I try to keep pressure in the tank, but I drain it very often. So there's never hardly any water buildup in here, so I'm not worried about the bottom blowing out from rust or whatnot. But let's get the camera closer. We'll show you a little bit about it, show you how I got it set up, and then we will fire it up. Okay, let's get a closer look at this. Obviously we see made in China. Those CFM figures are probably a joke. High performance, twin cylinder, yeah, that's what it's got. Cast iron head, yep. Oil lubricated, yep. Belt driven, yep. 120 volt, yep. 5 horsepower, I kind of doubt it. 5 horsepower, 120 volt motor would be pretty big. 35 gallon, yep. So what I've done on the bottom here is I've added a 90-degree fitting here. That's just a quarter turn valve. And that allows me to drain the tank really easy. The original one was, one of them twisty, kind of old school taps. As we go out the side, I've added another one. This is the output air, and that allows me to shut off the air tank, because I shut it off when I'm done with it because there's leaks in the system. It's a very small system I have here. And going up here, what we've got, this is the original gauge. This is your overpressure valve. And this is the switch which turns on the compressor and turns it off as well. This is currently a little broken. It doesn't turn it off in time, but the motor is just a cheap, no-name motor to be expected. I have replaced a capacitor in it because the leads got damaged, so that really helped it out when I replaced the capacitors. It has a 20 amp circuit breaker, which surprisingly is accurate. I tested the load on it, and it kicks out at 20 amps. So when this guy gets to about 100, it's about all it can handle, and the motor kicks out the 20 amp circuit breaker here. I've wired it into a heavier duty plug, 20 amp, 120 volt, ran a special line just for this, and it has really helped me out. The outcoming air goes up to the main pressure regulator here. And then what I've got is I've got a hose reel, which is really nice, plastic hose reel, and this is, I live in Wisconsin, and this hose is rated for cold weather, works really good. One more thing. This is another way to use the system. If I needed full pressure, I can hook a hose right up to here, and then I've got another shut off here as well. But like I said, no name compressor. This is just kind of the check valve here for the system, little pipe that goes over to here. And this is the replacement compressor, which is identical to the original one, except it's black. And then back here we've got belt drive. So this is where we'll add our oil. This is our current oil level. And this is where we'll drain the oil from. And I will use just a little tray that I've bent up here to drain the oil. So let's get started and drain the air from it. When I drain the air, I used hearing protection because I value my hearing quite a bit, so very important to do that, especially around loud noises. Let's turn on the compressor. So I've got the socket on the oil drain fitting. I'm gonna pull that out and we're gonna drain the oil into a pan. Some of the heat just from running it here is finally sunk down into the crankcase, and that'll help the oil drain that much quicker. So there's definitely some dirt in it. That's okay. Let's drain as much out as we can. Okay, let's go on and do a couple drips here. That's a good enough spot as any. Now we're going to tighten the plug back up, but not too tight. You don't want to damage it. And now we get to fill it up with more oil. I like to save these caps from other bottles. Little funnel cap, I suppose. Just cut it to the right length. And then you can use it again. And I'll just be looking on here until the oil's about halfway up. Not pushing real hard on it because I don't want the cap to explode off. That'd be bad. Here comes oil level up. Maybe just till that red dot is covered up. That should be fine. That looks good. Wow, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at changing oil on a air compressor. There are certainly oilless air compressors out there that do have many advantages, but this one for the price worked out for me, and it's still going almost 20 years later, so I think I'm okay with it. Of course, like I said, I did have to replace this guy. I ran it a little hard. I ran it too high a pressure, not over pressure by any means, but these reed valves are kind of sensitive, so I'm much more careful on this one. But hope you enjoy it. Please check out our other videos.